Hi folks, Steven here. So this is going to be yet another of our Pokemon, Pokemon Go Community Day. Haven't done those for a while. There was one last month, but it kind of ended up in a way I didn't really feel like summarizing my time there. Nothing super terrible happened, but not the best time there. We'll be talking a little bit about it actually as part of this. By the way, let me know if the lighting looks good and stuff. I did have to move some of my setup around for some other stuff I'm doing here. So this hopefully all looks okay with the lighting and stuff, but let me know about that. So as usual, this was a more normal Pokemon Community Day. Of course, last month they had the Mega thing, or whatever, not Mega Evolution, but Mega, so many different Pokemon to catch, which didn't work out so great, to be honest. And so today we're going to be going over the Machop Community Day. That was this weekend. Alright, so let's go ahead and start the presentation. You know, as I always do these as that. We'll also be talking, by the way, about some upcoming music stuff that was announced, let's see, this week. Alright, so I'd like to talk about the weather here. Even though I'm staying close to home with the situation being what it is these days, I want to talk about that. So, although we didn't do a presentation last month, I did want to put out the weather for Sunday the 13th. Had a high of 27, low of 9. That was a bit below average in both counts. Relatively low wind speed. Actually, that was not too bad, thankfully. You never know quite what you're going to get here in Wisconsin over the winter, so... Let's see, next up is yesterday's weather. This was, of course, yesterday. Let's see, we had a high of 30, low of 27. So very narrow temperature range, definitely above average, if only a little bit. Wind speed 5.6, so not super fast or anything, but it was still there. Now, of course, last year in January, that was the first times before the situation hit, where I was trying to get this to go into... I was trying to do various places around Madison, and that, of course, ended after the February one, but I'm hoping later this year, maybe over the summer, things will get to the point where I can start showing you different places around Madison through these. I really do want to do that. But it was really cold last January for Community Day, which I think was I was looking it up, I think it was the 19th or thereabouts. So, brutally cold that weekend. It was near 0 Fahrenheit, so I just went to the nearby mall and sort of worked out of there, which wasn't maybe the best location, but it worked out. Certainly, it was Piplup Community Day last January, and that was about right. But speaking of things from last year, so yeah, I think 2020 is going to follow me around in Pokemon Go for a while because I did not finish December Community Day, unfortunately. You can see I'm on phase 2 of that, so did not get nearly as far. Had some definite issues with the way that was structured. I've got most of my Weedle done. That's a pretty common one. A couple C-Dot. Haven't seen much Ghastly lately. I hope I don't have to wait till next October for the next Halloween event, when I'm sure there'll be some around, but... Alright, eventually I will hopefully get that one done. Alright, and pay attention to that little thing at the bottom. We'll be talking about that. Just a little teaser for later. Alright, Machop Community Day. Now, this was a little bit different in that it doesn't look like there were any non-event tasks. In other words, you did have to buy a ticket to really do anything with it. Maybe that's just because Machop does not require a special evolution item. Although you can get a Machamp, you can bypass the candy requirement by using trading. But in any case, more Machop are appearing in the wild. Surprise encounters, I didn't actually end up using those. And then let's see, oh yes, research story available. And 3 times catch Stardust. So, kind of some of the usual stuff there, but like I said, no overall stuff, just because I guess you don't need the evolution items like you did with the Porygon 2 to Porygon Z and all that stuff, and Magmortar and Electivire have those. They need those Sinnoh stones and stuff like that, so... Speaking of Sinnoh, right now there's the Sinnoh celebration event. I guess it goes through the end of the day today. I did reasonably well on this. Haven't managed to, unfortunately, finish any of these. Looks like there's a couple you got to get from Team Rocket members, which is a little difficult for various reasons. But has the starters and some other stuff. I do hope to get through one of these. I think they're sort of counting backwards towards the through the generations. I think they did Unova recently. I could be wrong about that one. Excuse me. All right. But anyway, here's the ticket, as usual. It's about $1 for that. And must play during the specified time, all that fun stuff. Now, I did actually have a Machamp from like a raid or two earlier. It was actually, Machamp are actually pretty easy to do in raids, especially if you've got like a bunch of Lugia on your team, because of course it's very, very effective against those. Even though it's a level 3 raid, it's not that hard to take those down if you've got the right Pokemon for it. Of course, I've got a couple Lugia from Go Fest 2017, so, and whatnot. So I picked this up out of the store. As usual, though, you do need to have a slot open in your inventory. I kind of wish they would find some way around that, because it's not, last thing you want to do. But anyway, as per usual, there is a sort of a story-ish thing from Professor Will that goes around these things. Let's see. This one is talking about movies. Now, I do wonder when this was actually written. Sometime last year, I'm sure. But of course, last month in Japan they had the movie that was originally supposed to come out over the summer. It got delayed till Christmas, and I don't know what these look like over in Japan. I assume they still do these over there as well. But you look at that middle picture there. Also, a lot of movies feature Pokemon. Don't you love it when your interests overlap? I don't know, maybe they were saving this maybe this was supposed to be, Detective Pikachu or something, I don't know. But of course, next month, probably, I have no official word on it, but I wouldn't be surprised if Pokemon Day Secrets of the Jungle comes out on Netflix or something like that. We'll have to see what happens with it. And then, so, I don't know if that was planned or not, or what there, or if some of the other stuff we'll see in here definitely fits the movie theme in there. Of course, I guess they could have done that with a Gen 5 Pokemon, since in Black and White 2 you have Verbank City. But the tasks are back to what they usually are. Power up a Pokemon 10 times, catch 15 Machop, make 5 nice throws. So this is pretty much what you expect for these. Not too difficult, and not too different, kind of. I'm not sure exactly what they would do with that, but... Alright, so we always do a regular versus shiny comparison, and Machop line has definitely, you can definitely tell why they chose the color they did. Of course, speaking of, comic books, technically speaking, it's very clearly a reference to the Incredible Hulk color scheme. It turns greenish for the shiny form, and that goes all the way up the evolution line. I didn't get super great shinies out of this one, so I didn't fully evolve that. But I did manage to get some of this there. But there's your little comparison. So, let's see. So yeah, isn't the relationship between trainer and their Pokemon wonderful? Machop are truly remarkable Pokemon too. So yeah, as you may remember from the normal ones they do of these, you go through the various stages, and each stage Professor Willow will talk a little bit. Second stage task, very similar. Got to transfer Pokemon, catch more Machop, and evolve 3 of them. So you do get some goods out of that. I did have some issues where I was running out of things to catch with the Pokeballs and stuff a little bit. I could have played a little more optimally there. You may notice if you look at the times at the tops of these, I did finish this relatively quickly. So, since you have to evolve some stuff for this, I picked up this Machop that I got about 1.5 years ago, back in 2019, and you can see it's got almost perfect stats. It's the best Machop I have. It's perfect in 2, and the other one is like 1 or 2 off. So, should serve me well in the future, and I'm certainly looking forward to that. You know, it says we'll star on. I usually star my 3-star once I appraise them. So, good feature there. I do kind of wonder, since Top and Machop are supposed to rhyme, it does have a different name in other ones, and I'm wondering if they did that too. If anyone knows, let me know. And feel free to share any experiences you had on Community Day in the chat or as a comment on this video. Let's see. Yes, the classic movie training montage. It's, I'm not sure what the first movie to do it is, but the Rocky movies are famous for, starting the more modern version of that trend and stuff like that. Talked about how the Machop went to the mountains with his trainer to train together. But yeah, otherwise, Stage 3, kind of the same. I did sort of say I wanted to see more variety with these tasks. I had hypothesized during the Electabuzz that maybe if you charge your phone for a while, that could have been a task in there, or something of that nature. Maybe I don't remember what else is coming up that they've announced so far, but next time they do an electric Pokemon, that's something you could do that wouldn't be too difficult for people to try out on there, or something a little bit different. Let's see. All right. But just to interrupt things in the middle for something else that was certainly interesting to have to me, take a look over there. Yeah, so you noticed there I finally got the, since you need to make those great curveball throws, I figured, why don't I try to make an excellent one? And the reason for that, first of all, it's always a little bit easier if you're doing the same Pokemon over and over. And second of all, you may remember, a couple years ago, there was this task series, and I still haven't finished it, unfortunately. But one of the tasks, you have to make an excellent curveball throw, and I decided now would be the time to do it, and I managed to do it. It's pretty tough, but I managed to get that. And what happens after you complete 7-8 out of a mythical discovery? Well, yeah, you can sort of see, it becomes kind of transparent. That one looks familiar, doesn't it? It looks like I've seen it somewhere. So yes, that is a Mew. And it's interesting, it makes you go into AR mode. The only other mythical I have Victini from last year's event, Pokemon Go Festival. And I definitely don't have a Shaman, if that's even out. I guess it must be. Manaphy or anything like that, assuming they've even released those Celebi Jirachi now. Still working on those. But it's sort of phasing out. But you have to use AR for it, which is kind of interesting just because you may remember a few months ago, late last year, I upgraded my phone, and my old phone would have crashed on this almost incessantly. It would have been very difficult to get this to work. So I'm glad I upgraded, but yes, as you can probably guess, I don't think you can really fail this one. I think you have an unlimited supply of Pokeballs, it seems. There was no counter on it. But I was able to catch it, and add that to the Pokédex. So I think you get a bonus. Normally the new Pokemon bonus is 500. I wasn't using a lucky egg until later, which we'll talk about. Yeah, new Pokemon and first throw. So yeah, I've got a real shot at completing my Kanto Pokédex in Pokemon Go now. I've got all the legendary birds, Mewtwo, and Mew, which obviously are some of the harder ones to get at through all of that. So good there. It's got decent stats. I think the mythicals always are on the high end there. So I always find Mew's facial expression. You see it here. You see it in some of the Mystery Dungeon games where it's got that closed mouth and it's just kind of staring like that. A little weird, to be honest. Anyone else feel like that? Not gonna look at a gift horse in the mouth. I swear I didn't plan that. Too much here, but I wanted to point that out. So back to our regularly scheduled programming. Oh, a little bit more here. Sorry about that. Messed up that transition. So this also has a little bit of text here. I got a ton of experience off of that, which was nice. But now back to our regularly scheduled programming. Of course, I did evolve into a Machamp, and of course, like with all the community days, you get a special move on there for it. In this case, it is Payback. So we'll see how that one works out. It's supposed to make you, better against ghosts and psychics and stuff, but I don't know. Just a little bit different. I think the Magmortar and the Electivire, they gave you the Electivire you could get Flamethrower, and Magmortar you could get Thunderbolt, which I think was a little more potentially useful. And then, yep, we have a little wrap up here with there. So it was like the end of that movie. So yeah. So I think we'll talk a little bit more about this one. I think the writing here, it felt a little more unique because it wasn't just talking. Even though obviously Professor Will, a fictional character, it was kind of nice to hear a little bit about him and whether or not that was timing to fit along with the movie or whatnot. We won't know, but some more rewards there. And of course, you get the Pokemon that appears at the end of this is another Machop with the special move there. So, all right, yeah. Let's talk about some raids. I actually wound up doing quite a few raids, pretty much all remote. I think they actually were all remote. Was pretty lucky here. So you may notice the timestamps get a little bit later for those last two photos. So after I completed the main event, I noticed that there were a bunch of like level 1 raids that I could do remotely popping up within very close proximity time-wise to each other. So I used a lucky egg and I got a ton of stuff on there. And as I was planning to go to the last one, I got an invite to a mega raid, a mega Abomasnow raid, which went very well actually. We did quite well there, finished it in about 2/3 of the time that we had available. I'm not sure exactly what level of difficulty megas are supposed to be. I think they're a little easier than a level 5 raid. So maybe they're roughly equivalent to the old level 4 raids. I still wish there were level 2 and 4 raids. I haven't seen one in a long time. If they're out there, you know. But got a ton of experience, and I got double experience for a lot of these, including the Mega Abomasnow, which was like 20,000 XP. All right, writing. Let's talk about the overall thoughts on this one. Writing was a little more interesting than usual. Nice to make Professor Willow more of a character in this one. There were the usual, I guess you could say, dad jokes in this one, as there usually are. But I kind of like the writing on this one, and I hope they do more things in the future. It's certainly encouraging folks to have interests outside of straight Pokemon, you know, would certainly be nice. Typical tasks, though, the usual stuff there. I'm not sure what you would do. Certainly wouldn't want people to punch their phone. Or stuff like that. That would probably not be good, but I do hope that they can, you know, like I said, I think the electric ones, the lightning ones, the next time they do that, they can have folks have to charge their phone for a little while, take a break or something to complete a task. You know, it doesn't have to be super long or anything, but I think that would at least be thematically appropriate and be something that would not be too difficult. And then, of course, Mew. Obviously, we just talked about the raids, but yeah, I'm getting Mew into this game. Nice to be able to finally do that. So I guess next I have, I know I've got the 1,000-Year Slumber one. I forget if I've got the there was the Celebi event of some sort that I might still be working on. But yeah, you get the idea there. Alright, so let's see, that should be for that. Yes, we do have some musical things to talk about for this one. Of course, this year is the 25th anniversary of when the Pokemon games came out in Japan in February 27th of 1996, and of course this is the 25th anniversary. Sorry if that makes you feel old. But they did announce a couple things this week, actually. The first one of those is that they're doing some musical stuff with Katy Perry and other musicians. They're partnering with Universal Music Group. Nice little photo there of Katy with a Pikachu tail in the background. Definitely some roar jokes made about this one, all in good fun, I'm sure. Nice little, one of the pictures they have there. They have the little Pikachu picture there, but they also have this 25 with the different generations of starters and stuff like that. So that's kind of nice. I just kind of noticed that some of the things are a little bit different there. They each got like a Pokédex, it looks like, somewhere, mostly. So, fun stuff, and they have some little symbols of each generation and what it introduced. So I really recommend you take a look at this, and I'm just noticing some things now, like the Mega Stone is on the X and Y generation where that came in, and like they have the dress up for Generation 5, interesting. And they've got the cooking for the Sword and Shield generation, so kind of neat stuff there. But let's talk about what the actual news story said. So this is from Pokemon.com. So they say they need a great playlist, and they have Universal Music Group and specifically Katy Perry, but they do say there'll be other artists, new and up and coming. You know, I'm sure a lot of artists in their 20s and up through their 30s either grew up with Pokemon, well, they grew up with Pokemon and they're really excited to be working on some of this. I did put in a thing. I didn't get this press release sent directly from my press rep. I did let them know. I mean, I know that I'm not going to rate Katy Perry. Do not look for a Katy Perry review on this channel unless I'm really lucky, or they do some group thing. But I did let them know that I am interested in talking to any label reps, any writers, any backing musicians, or stuff like that. Totally up for that. So hopefully we'll see that in the future, but no promises, especially not until some more stuff gets mentioned. I asked a bunch of questions that I figured you probably can't answer these yet. Like, hey, is any of this going to tie into Secrets of the Jungle and the Western version of that? That'd be pretty cool if they could get some of that in there. And then, other things of that nature. But that all remains to be seen. But I am pretty excited for this, to see some stuff. We did get some stuff with the Detective Pikachu, but like a major thing like this we haven't seen since the first couple of movies, really. So it'll be interesting to see how this goes. I don't really know what their schedule is planned for this, and if they're going to put out a song a month. Certainly they'll have something by the time the anniversary comes up next month for Pokemon Day, but I'm not sure what they're going to do. But it'll be interesting to see what they come up with, and certainly I hope some sort of commercial release is coming on with this. All right, so other major news this week is they released a release date, April 30th, for new Pokemon Snap, I should say. So, first of all, new trailer with maybe actual game music. I'm not really sure. It still sounds like it could be pretty stock to me. Like, remember last year when they had the new Pokemon Snap announcement, they also had Cafe Mix. Cafe Mix had actual music from the game in there, but it was coming out like that day or that week or whatever. This one, like I said, I'm sure we'll see more. We'll definitely see more again next month. The music in the trailer was kind of not entirely ambient, but it wasn't so thematic. It'll be interesting to see what direction they go in after the last game, but some real nice imagery here. It looks like the game does run at like 60 frames per second, at least the video trailer did, for the most part. No sign of actual Todd Snap. There's a professor in there, and unless he's lying about his name, we'll see. But it's interesting. The region is called the Lentil region, not like the food. It's AL, I think. And I think that might be a pun on lenticular, which is a type of lens, actually, and other stuff there. So that might be where the joke comes from there. As far as the actual professor in there, Professor Mir, which, by the way, is also a part in many cameras, I should point out. So, certain Pokemon YouTuber folks have noticed a certain level of resemblance there. But I'm excited for this one. Obviously, a very artistic game of Pokemon aimed at maybe a little younger end of the crowd, but we'll see what happens with that. I'm hoping that if Snap isn't like a literal character, there's at least like a picture of him, or like his shirt is hung up on a thing somewhere or something like that. I hope they can work him in somehow. I understand them wanting to have both a male and female playable character, which is good. But yeah, that's what's going on with that. Alright, just keep taking a look at the time. Alright, Pokecasters Network updates. So, we do have a little bit of a thing here. It looks like Thursday the 28th is going to be the next network meeting, so that's in about a week and a half, I want to say. So, not this week, but the week after. Don't have the exact time yet. It's usually in the evening, so that should be coming in there. So, not much too else to say, but you can see that our network leader changes and shows stuff. And by the way, I should point out, if you really want to spread out on Pokemon Podcast, there is a master Pokecasters Network feed you can take a look at. You can find that on iTunes and other places that has all of the shows in the network to go through there. So, as far as my end, of course, we got out our episode with the Veronica Wyant and our Pokemon Puzzle Challenge discussion at the end of December, that last week before the new year. And I am looking to do stuff. I'm also trying to coordinate with Anne on when we're going to do our recording of the discussion of Pokemon Coliseum. So be listening to that music, because I have a feeling it might be next weekend. It might be when we get to that. So keep an eye out on our social media and the and whatnot. But that's what's kind of going on there. All right, well, I think that's the last slide I have. It is indeed. All right. Okay, well so that's kind of what's been going on in the Pokemon world right now. So obviously very excited for the Pokemon 25 music. I'm glad they're doing that. As you know from our discussion of last year's movie, Mewtwo Strikes Back Evolution, I was pretty disappointed in how that one turned out musically, and I'm glad they're doing, something, I guess, a little more aggressive. I don't know, aggressive isn't really the right word, but you know what I mean. Spectacular, hopefully. I did also ask them, is any of that stuff that, hasn't come out yet, is that going to come out? And it's like, well, can't really answer that one either. I kind of expected that from the PR folks, but I always want to get my foot in the door. But yeah, so a lot of stuff to look forward to this year, and I'm really excited about it. Let us know what you think. All right, folks, thanks.